Hello, I'm Hannah, and I'm back this week with your weekly food column. And this week I'm going to be showing you how to make some Greek potato fries with a yogurt sauce. This is super easy, it's fun. This would be great for dinner parties, small dinner parties now, or just a weekend night food. It's great. It's French fries, but it's done a Greek way. Okay, so we're going to start with our seasoning for our potatoes. So what I have is some organic red potatoes. This is about 2 pounds. And I have cut them into little wedges. You see? Just like that. Perfect for picking up with your fingers and dipping. So I put them in a Ziploc bag. Okay, so we got those. Now we have some olive oil that I'm going to pour into my bowl. Okay, so now for the good stuff. I have dried oregano, dried rosemary, garlic powder, salt, pepper, and paprika. And I just went ahead and dumped it all in a bowl together. And we're going to put it in here with our olive oil. Make sure we get it all in here. This is what's going to give those red potatoes some wonderful flavors. Okay, and we're going to just whisk it all together. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to take and we're going to pour this in our potatoes. Turn it around here so that you can see it. And I do it in a Ziploc bag just because it's easier. You don't mess up as many dishes. Of course, you could put it in a bowl and toss it. If you wanted to do that, it's totally up to you. Okay, there. Now, what we're gonna do is seal your Ziploc bag up. Make sure you kind of get as much air out of it as you can. All right. Now, the fun part. So if you have a child, they would love to do this, but my children are downstairs playing the PlayStation, so they wouldn't help me today. So I'm gonna have to do it myself. But what you do is you just massage and shake around these potatoes and make sure they get covered and all coated, evenly coated. I actually fixed these for a dinner party that we had with some friends a couple weeks ago, and they loved them. Okay, that looks like they're pretty well coated. Beautiful. Okay. So now you're going to take a cookie sheet, and I put down a piece of parchment paper in here so that nothing sticks. All right. So you're going to take and pour the potatoes out onto your cookie sheet. Try not to get that everywhere. Okay. Now, grab one of these. I'm going to push them and try to get them all in a single layer, okay? Now, I have my oven turned to 475 degrees. That's kind of a high heat, but I want these to get really crispy, okay? So I'm going to bake them for 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes is done, I'm going to take and open up my oven, and I'm going to flip them. And I'm going to bake them for another 15 minutes, okay? And then after that 15 minutes is complete, I'm going to bump my oven heat up to 500 degrees and kind of move them around a little bit. And that way they get really crispy, okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to start. Place them in the oven. All right, it's more time at 15 minutes, okay? Now, in the meantime, while those are baking, we're going to make a yogurt sauce. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I showed you how to make a tzatziki sauce. Okay, so I had a couple of people comment and tell me they were like, really, really do not like cucumbers. Okay, so this would be perfect. If you don't like cucumbers, this is like the tzatziki sauce without the cucumbers, okay? All right, so what I have is some plain Greek organic yogurt. We're going to dump this in the bowl. Okay. Now, I have a half a cup of freshly chopped dill. See, this sounded familiar. It's a little bit like tzatziki sauce without the cucumbers. Okay, got that in there. Okay. Now, I need the zest of 1 lemon. Now, this is a, I guess it is a zester. It's not really a microplane. A microplane's a little bit smaller than this and sharper, but it is kind of sort of like that. I use it to zest lemons. The way to zest the lemon is make sure you're using a washed lemon. Make sure it's clean. Okay, so you're going to pull it through 1 time. That's it. And then move on to the next spot on the lemon. You don't want to do it in the same spot twice because then you get into the rind and that's not good. It's not edible. Okay? And you have to be really careful when you're using one of these because if your hand slips, it's a nasty cut. It's not good. This is probably not something you want your children to do. Okay. And it's great because with the microplane, it does this as well, but it keeps all of, everything that you've zested right there on top. It doesn't fall off until you get it ready to. Okay, so I've zested that lemon. I'm going to take and just rake it into our bowl. Okay, perfect. All right, now I need the juice of 1 lemon. Just going to cut it right here. And juice it. Now, the yogurt sauce is a dipping sauce. Of course, if you like ketchup, like my children, you can absolutely use ketchup with these potatoes. Or ranch. My children have found they love ranch. But this is really good. It's cool and refreshing. Because let's face it, even in September, it's hot in Mississippi. So, okay. All right, so that's the juice of 1 lemon with a little bit of dill on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to pour that in here. All right, and we're going to mix all of this together. Make sure it's good and combined really well. Okay, and while we're waiting for our potatoes to finish baking, we're going to pop this in the refrigerator because it's just better, if it's chilled a little bit. Okay, so we're going to pop this in the refrigerator and we will wait for our potatoes. Okay, so my timer just went off. I've baked these twice for 15 minutes each and I've flipped in between. So now I'm going to bump my temperature up to 500 degrees. Okay. Oh, yeah, we've got a little helper down here. He doesn't want to get burned. So what you want to do is kind of, I've tossed them and you can see how they are. So turning it up to about 500 degrees, we're going to have to watch this about 5 to 10 minutes. It's going to really get those fries good and crispy and delicious. Okay, so my potatoes are ready. We're going to clear that out and take them out. They are beautiful and crispy.
Wait, cookie?
Hot plate coming through, Mr. Hub. All right, now. These are potato fries. Okay, so before you serve them, while they're kind of sizzling a little bit, I have some fresh chopped dill, and I also have the zest of 1 lemon. You don't want to skip this part because this makes them extra delicious. Okay, so what you want to do is just take, and I may have chopped up a little bit too much dill, but that's okay. And you want to just sprinkle it all over these beautiful potatoes. good. Delicious, delicious. And it just makes the dill, the fresh dill and the lemon zest just makes for a really pretty presentation. Okay, now I've got my fresh lemon zest. And I'm going to sprinkle all over. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy these. I hope you try this recipe out. Make sure that you check out my blog, thetriathletemom.blogspot.com. Make sure that you buy a Winston County Journal, Choctaw Plain Dealer, or Webster Progress Time.